Welcome to another installment of This Is Not Normal on the Political Drain podcast with Drill Sergeant Doug, aka Admin Doug, a U.S. Army veteran, teacher, musician, and family man from Jamaica, now fights for justice and democracy through commentary and humor. Follow him on YouTube at Political Drain and at Sons of Liberty Official as Drill Sergeant, aka Admin Doug, continues to protect our freedoms.
We're following major news tonight out of South America. U.S. forces launch a new military operation targeting alleged narco-terrorists in Ecuador.
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. And there's breaking news. The United States has just now also hit Ecuador. And it's 9-country-long attack now. I thought, of course, Cuba would be next so that it could fulfill, little Marco Rubio's hatred of his own people. And it could make him feel bigger than he is. He's small. He's very small. And it was not Cuba. It's instead Ecuador. But likely, Cuba, Mexico is next. But guaranteed, there will be more because our president is a maniac. He's a monster. Ecuador was just struck. Here's some news about it.
U.S. forces also taking part in military operations in Ecuador, targeting what the administration calls designated terrorist organizations operating there. The U.S. Southern Command releasing this video tonight saying the U.S. and Ecuador are taking decisive action to confront narco-terrorists. For months, the U.S. has been targeting what it says are drug-running boats off the coasts of South America. This is the first time the U.S. military has engaged in a land operation targeting South American drug cartels.
We're following major news tonight out of South America. U.S. forces launch a new military operation targeting alleged narco-terrorists in Ecuador. U.S. Southern Command sharing declassified video of preliminary ground operations tonight, saying it is working with the Ecuadorian government. At this hour, there is still no word on the outcome of this military action or any indication that it was approved by Congress.
Here's some more news about it, and I like what this guy says because I'm going to get into the idea of our Congress. Well, I'll let him start it.
All right, everybody. There is breaking news. Surprising breaking news. Trump has hit another country. He is all gas and no brakes, and he just hit another new country. I have said for months, I don't know if anybody's listening, that the most important story in the world is that Donald Trump can do anything he wants with the most powerful military the world has ever seen, and nothing is stopping him. Nothing's even slowing him down. And now he has hit Ecuador. Ecuador. That means he's hit 9 foreign countries just in the last year, hit one of them twice. Let me give you the list in case you're not keeping track at home. Somalia, Iraq, Yemen, Iran, the Caribbean, exact location and national waters unknown, Syria, Venezuela, Iran again, and now Ecuador. And he wants to hit Cuba and probably Mexico. And I've said before, he wants to continue to deploy troops domestically. He wants to invoke the Insurrection Act. The most important story is that he's doing whatever he wants with the most powerful military the world has ever seen, our sons and daughters, and nothing is stopping him. Nothing's even slowing him down or even becoming a speed bump. Congress is a failure. As I warned, they haven't even voted yet on Iran, and he's already on to another country, Ecuador. Now, my money was on Cuba, but I was close. If you had Ecuador in the poly markets, then you either have a crystal ball or you should be in jail.
And while people are praising what he did in Iran, I know it's not a lot of them. It's only about 27%. But the poor Iranians who are now happy and jumping for joy because they believe that this guy has come to save them, not knowing they're just one of the 9. Now, let me interject also that not only am I happy for the Iranians if everything goes the perfect way that they think it's going to go, I'm telling them that it's not because the evidence is here. On the other hand, there are Americans that cannot leave. There's Americans that cannot leave where they are. Now, the UK has gone in to take out their people and done everything they can to extradite their people from the war-torn nations that are now under fire from Iran, retaliating because we bombed them without asking Congress, just like Ecuador, just like all of them. But not only that, Our government gave a number that said, if you need to leave, we have an extra special number for you to call to get you out of there. And when you call that number, the answer you get is, the United States cannot help you right now. You think I'm lying? I am not.
I'm an American taxpaying citizen, and I've now been stuck over here since the 24th. But I am desperate to get home to my family.
That was hard to watch. And it's so bad that Donald Trump posted something about people who are stuck in other countries. If they need to, get out of that country, here's a phone number for you to call. You can call this phone number and we're going to do our best to try to get you out of that country. Well, someone called the number. And here's what they found when they called that number.
All right. So Secretary of State Marco Rubio urged news organizations to put the 24/7 State Department emergency line out so that Americans who are stuck in the Middle East can get help getting out of the region, register their names and not. But listen to what happens when you dial the number.
Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or evacuation at this time. There are currently no United States evacuation points. Please continue to check the embassy's website for updated information.
So
in the event of ongoing...
The bottom line is, if you're looking for help, you're stuck in the Middle East and you can't evacuate, there's no help yet from the United States government.
It's loud and clear. We just got this message here in Israel from the embassy. It reads, I'm quoting here, the U.S. Embassy is not in a position at this time to evacuate or directly assist Americans in departing Israel. Those are the words from the ambassador, Mike Huckabee, and frankly, they're consistent with what Americans are hearing across this region. We all were alerted in 14 countries last night to leave immediately. People were told on their own using commercial options, which is simply an incredible irony, given that in almost all of the countries listed, there are no commercial options to leave right now.
It's a little bit disheartening and a little bit envious to hear that the BBC has announced that the UK government is actually arranging transport for the British citizens to be able to extract them, whereas here for us as Americans, we feel abandoned. The State Departments, I've talked to two embassy personnel, two different embassies. They are in survival mode, quite frankly, because as we know, the administration reduced their budgets by almost one half.
So while other countries have plans to get their citizens out of these dangerous countries, our country is not only abandoning American citizens, but they're abandoning generals as well.
So I just want the Iranians to remember that. That's who you're dealing with. The people who told their own people, we got you. And when you call the number, they don't have you. When you call the number, Iranians that are dancing, I pray to God someone answers other than us. Unfortunately, if it's not us, it'll probably Israel. And that might even be worse, as they carpet bomb Tehran, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, just another intense, unnerving, frightening day of airstrikes here in the capital, Tehran. And it just continues to be an astonishing scene, seeing these jet fighters, hearing them zoom ahead, and then hearing these earth-shaking explosions followed by thick plumes of smoke, the most intense air raids taking place.
Are you seeing any indication of a larger protest brewing?
At this point, we're not. Obviously, when the death of the Supreme Leader was announced, there were pockets of celebrations throughout the country. But millions of others came out to mourn his death. The bottom line is Iran is a country of 90 million people. These are 90 million voices. Are there many people among this population that didn't like the Supreme Leader, that despised them? Indeed, there are. But there's also millions of people that despise the United States and Israel more, especially with this war. And there's other Iranians who are simply confused. They feel helpless. They feel under attack, and they want some stability. So that's the indication of this uncertainty that exists right now.
More will die, and it will be under the auspices, as it always is, of freedom. Not regime change, though, because that regime is still there, believe it or not. The contingency plan for who would be next is put in place already. I hate to be the one to burst the bubble of all of the Iranians dancing in the streets all over the world. You deserve freedom. You don't deserve incompetence. That's what's happening now. Imagine being freed from dictatorship by a dictator who's wanted you dead for 40 years. It feels good until the carpet bombings start. He hates you like our president hates us. They belong to the same class. There you have it, folks. There you have it. You put a monster in charge who's inside of the Epstein files. You put a monster in charge who is inside, who's the files should be called the Trump files, where Epstein shows up every now and then. The accusations against him are horrifying, and the news media is not showing those accusations. They're acting as if there's no accusations there, and we need the other 3 million files that are still being hidden illegally, according to the Disclosure Act, the Transparency Act. We don't even need those. The accusations that are in the ones that we have are enough to get anybody indicted. They're not even looking. Our Congress is feckless. Our House Minority Leader is feckless, and our House Majority Leader is, well, I believe he's a closeted petty himself. I believe that's why he monitors his son's porn. This is where we are. There will be another one soon until we get rid of him. I don't have a lot of knife hands and yelling because, again, at some point, it's just another country. This time's Ecuador. Cuba is probably next. You should watch out there. Get your stuff together. And nothing will ever change until we impeach him. So, if I were you, I'd make sure to be trying to vote in people who are with the Citizens Impeachment Movement. They have over 100 candidates. Kat Abu-Ghazaleh is one. Bree Woodson in Georgia is one. Jordan Herrera is one. We have people in Ohio, like Lieutenant Colonel Malcolm S. Ritchie. He's not a part of that movement, but he also says that he wants to impeach the minute that they get there. Now, I work closely with those campaigns, but I'm also a part of a movement that is the Removal Coalition. The Removal Coalition. That's Cliff Cash and Jessica Denson's baby. And there's, I think, like 40 influencers now, if you can call me that. People who speak independently, aren't paid by corporate media. And yeah, that's what all the marches are for. That's what all of the marches are for. Not just to say, hey, we don't like the guy. We're going inside of the capitals. We're going inside of their offices en masse. I'd love to see more people do it every weekend. Flare.USA is doing it every weekend in D.C. You can do it where you are. But the Parker won't cut it. The Parker won't cut it. And the demand has to be unified. Impeachment now or shut the fuck up. Impeachment now or shut the fuck up. That's it. That's all. And for all the rest of you who are saying, it won't happen, well, I'll tell you what. We'll just wait for another country to go down before you realize that none of that matters. The only people who have a constitutional right to get rid of this, to stop this, are in Congress. And the only way to do it is impeachment. So that's what you fight for, or you do nothing and just be okay with that. Just say that then. The time to fight is now.
Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.
That was the Political Drain podcast, which can be heard on www.groovechillradio.com/political-drain and can be viewed on the Political Drain YouTube channel anytime. Once again, thank you for listening to Groove Chill as we resist fascism in any form, pursue democracy, peace, and love.